Okay, check this out. It's going to be a real quick video. It's going to speak volumes about this channel, what's happening on this channel. And it's going to speak volumes about me, who I am, what I'm capable of producing as what I would call spontaneous spirit fruits. And that would be along the lines of my vision, my sight, what I see. If you just have a little time and hear me out, the very least that will happen is that you will have something to ponder and wonder about how I did this. And I didn't do it. It's the Spirit of Truth that does it. And I don't even realize what's really happening. I'm just following the Spirit leading and giving you the information that I feel motivated by the Spirit to do. And as you see, those of you who have been here for a long time, you understand that what I say manifests. And we're going to have the proof of that here in an incredible, beyond mind-blowing, unique way. So just hear me out and just, draw your own conclusions. March 8th, I uploaded this video, Night of the Comet Introduction Breakdown. I showed you guys all of my notes, okay, that I had pre-prepared already. And the notes are, if you probably look good in the video, you can see they're written on front and back. Okay, I've got a part 2 on the back of this part 1. And then I did already show you part 3 in the video, which has a part 4 in the back. Now, just what's already uncanny, if you haven't seen the series and you don't understand, what really blows my mind is that it connects to what I showed you guys with the month of Cancer. And if you remember in my Arrival of the Locust video, I gave you the lowdown on what I thought about Cancer and this Royal Arch. Okay, so go check the series out to understand that it has everything to do with the timing of the destruction and even the arrival of the locust, which is a 2-part event. Okay, give unto her double. It's always double. Everything's double. Compounded doubles. Okay, it's a part of the mirror. It's a part of the reflection. So just hear me out. Uncannily enough, I was watching the movie to find some sort of coded information and see if there was anything that was of reference to what I felt I'd been seeing and warning everybody about. Well, you all know, it's completely filled with it, identical to how I've been telling you guys for the last 2 years. The biggest, incrediblest thing about it all is that she says Cancer while she's wearing a purple shirt, which will prove what this purple is about. It's about the destruction. It's about the destruction of New York City. It's about the destruction of a portion of the United States, an ideological portion of the United States, so that Ephraim can gain his crown, can gain his inherited kingdom as it fulfills in Isaiah chapter 34. All right, well, she says Cancer in this, which just blew me away, and it had fulfilled everything that I was talking about. That just speaks volumes. The 69, how we all tied it up, brings us back to Ishtar in her many variable associations of identity. That's the first thing that should grab your attention, that what I'm doing is not research. What I'm doing is seeing with a given sight that has been given to me. I've been what's called quickened, and I even know the very day that it happened. Now, even before I was quickened, I already recorded and drew all of this information. Now, what I'm going to tell you has a point. It's something that you guys have not heard yet before. But before I was quickened, all the way throughout my childhood, I don't know how to describe myself. You'd have to watch the video that says, I am indigo. It's a 2-part video on my playlist. Okay. Now, even though that I'm defined as something that would be relative to indigo, I myself do not define myself as indigo, but it's the closest thing that I can describe to the type of person that I am, because I am here for this time. My sight is entirely for God, for Jesus Christ, the Almighty Creator of all that is. Jesus Christ, not a man. Jesus Christ was God fulfilled in that man and manifested the living word and walked it to all of mankind. Okay? So, all right, it's all recorded in my past. Everything that I'm been declaring to you guys, it's all recorded. So you should take me seriously. You should take my warning seriously. All of you should begin to think about your preparations, and I'm not really meaning more or less so many material preparations, but your spiritual preparations. Prepare in your mind for this strong delusion. Become steadfast in your faith. Draw closer to a loving God, the fullness of the truth of God as it was lived by Jesus Christ. And those are the fullness of the preparations that I motivate you to have. With all of that being said, something else happened. Two things. I'm going to save the best for last. Something else happened that Operation End Times brought to my attention. And it's just shocking. It's just nothing short of shocking. He said, now remember, my notes were pre-prepared on the 8th. This was already written here well before this happened. But as I'm beginning to talk about it further in the video, days later, another time is about the time that it does happen. But all the notes are there. I gave an introduction breakdown, and in this we start talking about sodium pentothol. Okay? And sodium pentothol is what they knocked out Sam with. I told you Sam was USA. I said it's a reflection of the fake truth movement that's going on right now. So many people are fake. So many people are united to look like they're separate, but they're all saying the same thing. They're all liars. They're all liars. There is only a handful of people giving you the truth on YouTube now. If it's anything outside of Jesus Christ being the fullness of the creator of all that is, and that there's this coming destruction that's associated with purple that false Israel is about to impose with fire upon the earth, and New York City is the main target, but the agenda is for Ephraim to receive his crown, for the serpent to rise through the capital, and this double identity of the Queen of Heaven as being associated with fertility and death, that it's all wound up in this drama that's going before our eyes. If anybody's telling you different than that, they're one of two things: limited in their knowledge, or they're an agent. And if they're an agent, they're lying. They're liars. Now, many of these agents do fervently believe what they're telling, or not what they're telling you, but what they believe in is true, and they believe somehow that they have to lie to everybody to make it work. Okay, so they got a philosophy that they believe is true, but they're not being upfront with you guys, and they're pretending to be Christians. They're pretending to be about this and that while they're deceiving you, and then they're trying to plug into you the doctrine at the same time while you're unaware. That's dishonesty. They're going by all sorts of coded names like you just would not believe. There's so many things that they're doing that are just outright in your face if you see. And if you don't, you just basically are walking into the many angles, snares, and traps that they've all set. So there's only a handful of them. I mean, I haven't even seen but maybe a couple channels that are legit. And then the other ones that I view, I can see the outright deception staring me in my face. So subtle, so cunning, laced in the truth movement, laced in the goodness for the people, but underneath it all, it's racist. Underneath it all, it's against Jesus Christ. Underneath it all, it's designed to promote the We Are God's doctrine, of which is the biggest BS vanity curveball thrown at you that you're going to see them continue to play, and many people are going to accept it with their egos. They're just going to accept it. All right, well, back to the sodium pentothol. I start describing something here about sodium pentothol And I can't believe that it actually connects back to the July equal sacrifice video in some sort of way with that main guy. What was his name? James Holmes, I think. I'm not even sure if that's his name, because I don't have a TV. I don't study. I don't research. I see all this before it happens, and then it fulfills as the way that I saw it. Just as my video was displayed, July equals sacrifice, then this James Holmes guy commits a sacrifice at July within days or even a day of when I said it would happen. And it's all coded about the Batman stuff. And like I said, you should just know I had all of that up in video almost a year before it took place. All in the parameters of how it's all taking place now. It's plain and simple. Okay, if you can't see that I'm real, then check this out. They're saying now, Operation End Times brought this to my attention days after I uploaded the first video with all my information recorded, that they're going to inject this man with sodium pentothol. And I reveal, before it happens, all this information about sodium pentothol, its in-depth deception, its connection to the supposed knocking out of the United States, which is being done by them exposing themselves willingly, just like you'll see on the Illuminati card where they're putting all the propaganda and all the commercial ads, because that's commercial Babylon. That's the part they want to bring down. That's what Sam represented. The material girl, that portion of commercial Babylon, they want to get rid of. There's two Babylons, commercial and ecclesiastical. Ecclesiastical is going nowhere. You're going to see that be the second manifestation. I told y'all guys that. I told you that the name, this is, before we move further, just absorb what I said to you. Okay? Before I go further, I was starting to get excited here. Before I go further, absorb that it's all connected to what I've already revealed. This Batman sacrifice, as I predicted it, as a lesser reflection to have everything to do with the destruction of the U.S. Okay? It did not fulfill. I didn't claim that it would 100% fulfill. I thought that it would. But what did fulfill within the timing that I gave correctly for it to happen would be cancer. And everything that happened within that sacrifice with the Batman movie was coded with the event that I thought that would happen. And then just like you saw Sandy Hook, I gave the October warning video. I gave it in September. At the end of October, that's when the Sandy Hook hurricane hits New York City. And then I gave the Sandy Hook video that should let you know that it's exactly coded with everything that I'm talking about. Job chapter 41, who can draw out Leviathan with an hook? And then we know who this Leviathan is. It's the rising Kundalini serpent. It's their own divinity through this illumination of practicing the Kundalini, and then it's the bringing about of the actual serpent identity himself, the fullness of that manifestation, the fallen prince. So if you can absorb that, I don't think any of you guys have been hearing anything about sodium pentothol in the news before I did the video. I certainly hadn't. I remembered it vaguely from childhood, maybe even in some comic books or something like that. And then after I do the video, within days, they announce that they're going to give James Holmes sodium pentothol. And then I told you that the sodium represents the salt, which they're going to use as the tidal wave that destroys the East Coast from the millstone that lands in the ocean. Go look at the Illuminati card that is entitled Meteor Strike. It's a gigantic meteor coming from the heavens that has, guess what, the East Coast, more importantly, the portion of the East Coast that's associated with the 13 colonies. It's what I'm telling you, and it's already there. So there's no denying that what I'm telling you is real, that it's their plan, and that everything about it is manifesting. Everything that I'm saying is manifested in the way that I'm saying it. Not because I'm making it happen, as some people have tried to intimate. Well, you're causing it to happen then. And I'm not talking about dreams within dreams. Friends, you always think that I'm talking about you about stuff, and I'm not. I've been on this channel for 2 years. There are thousands of people that I'm talking to right now. I'm really not talking to anybody personally, but there are people way before Dreams came on the channel, way before Sugar Plums 1. There are people on the channel that have tried to tell me that I'm making this manifest. I'm not. I've seen it manifest. I've seen it when I was a child, and I'm seeing it now manifest like the vision that I had in the future. Just like there I am on the drawing. You can barely see it, but it says, I've seen this. And then you see my image in this world that I'm now seeing here. I've seen this. I've literally seen this all take place. I don't have any way to describe it. I just don't have. I just need you guys to hopefully understand that I'm being held up. I'm being held up by the Spirit of truth. What I say is real. My sight is true. It's 100% true. Now for the second part. Now do your research on this. Check me out. Check out the dates when they revealed this stuff. Check out my video. Look through everything that I say in that video series to see these manifestations for what they really are. Don't take my word for it. Don't take their word for it. Take your word for it. You do the legwork. Don't let nobody else tell you anymore what I am or who I am and what my capabilities are or what my intentions are. Why don't you find out for yourself? Okay? Because it's only those that seek that are going to find. There's something that I can offer that's of worth to every last single one of you. It's called the truth. So now for the next incredible, amazing thing. And this will go back to video 1 on March 8th again. And I tell you guys that this main character, Regina, represents Ishtar, the Regener. And I said that Ishtar represents ecclesiastical Babylon. Did I not? That is the portion of Babylon, Isaiah 34, where that great owl is going to inherit the land after this great blood sacrifice that takes place in Isaiah 34. That's the occult. Okay, that's Mystery Babylon, ecclesiastical Babylon. And I said that it was Regina. Did I not? And I said that it was Ishtar. Did I not? I did. And then I was even to break down the numbers down to 69, which fulfills us exactly where we should be with the whole thing, as it always comes full circle. Always. All right. Now, JMRG 772. Thank you, brother. You've been a good friend for a long time on this channel. You really have. You stuck it out through thick and thin. You've done your part. You've tried to teach people in Spanish. I've noticed that you have diligently tried to spread the word, and you have believed in me as your friend also. And man, I thank you, man. You're the guy that told me this, and it could not be any more credible. The new pope that was elected, his mother's name is Regina. Is Regina. This happens, they announce this after I give the video that describes that Regina is ecclesiastical Babylon. Now, Rome represents ecclesiastical Babylon, but if you follow, which represents the papacy, but if you follow, and they're going to want you to believe that this papacy is going down as it's associated with Christianity. It's not. Ecclesiastical Babylon's going nowhere, just as you see the papacy revere the Virgin Mary. Bingo. That's a symbolic representation of the sacred feminine, Ishtar. Now, Mary is real. Mary, the mother of Jesus, as we see in the Bible, but they have encoded over the historical identity of Jesus' mother and now use this to revere the sacred feminine as it's associated with Ishtar. Now, many people have already done videos that can show that coding and that connection already. It's been going on for years. People have been talking about it. It's no secret. You can Google it. You can find it out. So for them to come out after I say and give the breakdown on this movie, either a day or two or the next day after they announce they're going to give this James Holmes guy sodium pentothal, I say all this in the video before it happens. Every last bit of it. Many of you don't even know that I gave all of these symbols that I talked about I was breaking down the flower of life. I was breaking down all of these symbols and these connections, 44, the chromosome, the whole nine. And I put out a video. And then after I put out the video, within days, all of these things show up as crop circles in England. Days after I break down the symbols, tell you what they are, they all show up. I'm talking the tetrahedron, the flower of life inside the pyramid, as I had already related, is connected with their breaking of the code of the carbon atom, as it's associated with this work that CERN's doing to bring about the dark matter. As they've already said, they found the God particle. There's so many people that need the truth. Okay? All right, before I go any further, absorb that. Absorb, first off, that I gave the video and the arrival of the locust that gives you this incredible connection right here with the Cancer, and then I give the July sacrifice. It all begins to start fulfilling. This channel supported. The people that are trying to keep you away and making all these bad videos about me and want you to believe that I call myself a prophet and all that stuff, I don't. I call myself a seer. And a seer does not become a prophet until the fullness of his vision manifests. And when, I guess one day we'll all see who I was. I'm not going to say it now. I'm going to say exactly what I am. I'm a seer. And I have seen what's going to come to pass. Until this comes to pass in the fullness, you can all think or call me whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But at this point, I do know one thing that I do. I am an emissary of the fullness of the perfection of the singular God in paradise, the supreme being that is associated with the Trinity concept of personality identity known as the Father, the Son, and the Infinite Spirit. I am an earthly emissary. I am a brother and a friend. I'm an average person in so many ways. But like I said before, I might just have a little above average work ethic when it comes to the truth and when it comes to what the truth is all about. I'm passionate about it, and that passion translates into the manifestations of truth that are freely given by the Spirit of Truth, of which I'm not the Spirit of Truth. Okay? But I do know the Spirit of Truth. The Spirit of Truth is Jesus Christ. And that same Spirit of Truth that moves through me moves through other believers, and has definitely shared many identical truths with many other people that have the Spirit of Truth. There's no doubt about it. I think that my point here is just to get you guys to really absolutely think about the enormity of the significance of these events that have happened after I talk about them in the detail, in the description, the way that I describe them, what they are, and then they fulfill just as I say. I don't know what else to say other than don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you, man. Do not let them fool you. And so many people are already being fooled. Maybe just really think about Jesus Christ for a minute. And really think about how screwed up some of these people's minds are that try to say that he's the Antichrist, or try to say that he's the devil, or he's the bad one. Everything within the entire written Bible that describes the actions, the desires, and the intent of Jesus Christ is that he is ready to lay down his life for those that he loves. That he is a helper. That he takes time with the smallest to the greatest, to the lowest to the highest, that he takes time to teach and show them all love. That he revealed so much about the potential nature, the destiny, the true desires that God has for man in such a supernal way, such a beautiful way. There was no evil in him. You have to always remember that Israel itself, who I would call false Israel, being led by Ephraim, which consider the northern 10 tribes. It's even called lost Israel, the lost 10 tribes to this day. And then Jesus Christ talks about the lost sheep. You have to understand the fullness of who he was really coming to. He was coming to the lost sheep of Israel. Now, there's many different manifestations of lost sheep, of which there are many in all types of religions, all types of cultures. But you'll see him exclusively say to the disciples, of which I am one. I am a modern disciple. I'm wondering where the others are, because there's got to be a few more. Not many. There's got to be a few more. I'm one of the ones, not the one. Where are the other steadfast disciples in the living truth of Jesus Christ? Where are they? Where are those that are ready to give it all up for the glory of the inheritance on the other side? To know that the shadow is fading fast. The only thing that will be left is the true light of the sun that never fades. The true sun, not that dark and shadowy other one. The big channels, they're leading y'all guys away. And they won't acknowledge people like me. They won't even return some of my comments. If anything, I get immediately blocked. Think about everything that I've shown, and who are you going to really begin to look to for the truth? Okay, because you can look to one that is supported by the Spirit in every possible way that you can imagine, or you can look elsewhere. I don't know. We're supposed to love God in spirit and truth. So if you want to see the tangible spirit fruits, you must look to somebody that can spontaneously produce them. And my spirit fruits are spontaneously produced. I don't even realize the fullness of everything that I've even already done yet. If somebody was to study me like a scientist and study this channel's history and then study the historical events and things that I've said and everything that I've talked about, everything from the 5D series to what we're talking about now, they could not come to a conclusion of how I do this. Nobody can, unless you believe in God. And it would have to be the God that I represent, a perfect, loving, all-merciful Father. Just as Jesus Christ said, he's not going to lose a single one. So, I don't know, thanks for listening to me. Not trying to put myself up on any high horse or any pedestal. I've got faults. I've got things that I'm trying to work on. I want to be a better person, not necessarily for myself, but for those around me. I'd like to be a better example. I don't consider myself the best example out there. I certainly don't. I really don't. It's for me, it's not about being perfect now, but it's about realizing the potential for perfection that you have in striving every moment of every day to get there. And I believe that's what the Father expects of us also. So it's not where we're at, it's where we're going. It's not necessarily what we say, but how it was said. If you can begin to accept the fact that there's a God out there that absolutely loves you, that does not require blood sacrifices, does not require the death of sinners, of people that have been deceived, born into a world full of illusion and deception. If you can believe that Jesus Christ fulfilled himself to show the world that God does love man unconditionally and he loves them all equally the same, if you can find that in your heart, then you found the spirit of truth. And at the very same time you found me, I'll be back.